I'm on the wrong side. Okay. Here.
All right, Bev, you're our only viewer. You're the only viewer, Bev.
Okay. We're just gonna go IG Live, but I don't like that thing in the background.
What thing in the background?
I feel like there's not enough room for us. Like I don't feel like I have any room.
You're taking up the whole screen.
How do I go live? Live? Checking connection. Here. Is this too far away?
Yeah, you should just do it up there.
I'm trying to.
And then there for me.
How's that? Is it live?
I don't know. We're telling your yeah, it's live.
Okay.
Our followers are here.
Down more.
Why is it so tilted? Why is it so sideways?
You know what I'm good at? Selling real estate. You know what I'm not good at? Webinars.
One viewer, one eyeball. We got 2 people.
Let people join. It's too tilted.
It's perfect. Perfect. People are waving. What's up? What's up? I hijacked Carrie's phone. I hacked it. Shouldn't even be here. Call the police. Oh, there she is.
Gotta get rid of that.
Get rid of what?
Okay.
Made it bigger.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh.
You don't want it bigger? Make it bigger.
They're all waving to you.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. It's another webinar from the Carrie White team. Fabulous webinar. It's going to be recorded. Maybe you should look here and there.
Both.
Look both. Okay. Today we are talking about real estate investments. This is part 2 of our webinar. What are you doing?
Just see how many people are joining on. We're hanging on. It says
Good morning.
we're telling more followers to join the video.
Yes.
More people are joining. So maybe give it a second. Tell us where you guys are at right now. What are you guys up to this morning? Is it morning still? It's still morning. What are you guys up to this morning?
I am great at webinars. I'm not great at Zoom. Thank you, Beverly Hack.
Phrasing.
Isn't that a sexual thing? You're all the way in my webinar. Okay. So good morning, everyone. We are doing part 2 of our investment webinar on short-term. We're pounding away this morning on short-term rentals. We're just waiting for some people to join. And happy Friday. Happy birthday to my amazing operations manager, Beverly Hack. Happy birthday. She's 21 all over again. So today we're doing part 2 of our short-term rental webinar, and this will be recorded and we will send this out afterwards because there's so much good information, right?
So much good information.
So much good information. And we're super excited to be here today. So we are doing this webinar and we're going IG live as well to just allow more people the opportunity to, oh, okay, we're triple live.
Why not?
We are now collaborating on Eric's Instagram. Okay. All right. So I am Carrie White, real estate agent in beautiful sunny Los Angeles. We are missing a bit of the sun lately. And I am doing webinar series because one of my commitments of 2022 is to help my clients build wealth through real estate.
Yeah.
So I started a new webinar series and we've started doing some more fun stuff this year that we haven't been doing in the past. So this will be our 3rd webinar, but this is part 2 of short-term rentals. And today,
part 2.
Yes.
If you missed part 1, you can go back and you can actually watch
Yeah.
the first series of what we talked about in the first Airbnb series.
Exactly. Can we collaborate live?
Yeah, we can. Well, I don't know. Maybe you can.
Oh, probably could not because you're standing next to me.
Yeah, probably not. Let's
Okay,
just do it this way.
anyways, you're live, we're live. Okay, so yes, this is part 2, and I have Eric Crumbaker, my husband, joining me today on this webinar.
I have Carrie White, my wife, on this webinar.
This is my webinar that I'm hosting, and Eric is my guest. Carrie White team webinar. No, so thank you for being here today. I know you're very busy. Eric just launched a new brokerage called Element, and it is all about the human element, bringing back the human element into real estate because there's so many cloud-based brokerages, so many online brokerages. So they are just kicking butt with their new escrow office. So big congrats to Eric.
Cheers. Thank you.
Yes. And
follow us, Human Element, on Instagram.
All right, thanks for that plug. All right, so when we were planning this webinar, we realized there was so much information to give, so we decided to do a 3-part series. So today is part 2. Yes. Last time we had talked about
how to buy the home, how to research the Airbnb, what to
how
do,
to locate
how to
them.
buy the Airbnb, how to locate them using the AirDNA.
Yes, we talked about AirDNA. We did a live example showing what to research for. We talked about lifestyle asset, finding something that you enjoy, or you could just do this as a straight investment, of course. And today we're going to talk about the logistics of it, setting it up, decorating it, managing it, and actually making money from it.
And pricing, the very most important part.
Pricing. Yes, because as I had mentioned last time, I'm a little shiny today. Maybe it's your computer. As I had mentioned last time, that when Eric and I don't work together in a real estate team, I've got my own team, he's got his own brokerage. But when we bought a property together, we became business partners, right? So it changed the husband-wife. It's not a husband-wife dynamic when you're in business together. So we learned a lot. We've navigated a lot these last 2.5 years.
Yep.
And it's been pretty amazing. So that's something I said last time. Just keep in mind who you are partnering with on this, and keep in mind that this is a new business venture. This isn't just buying a vacation rental and then you get to go vacation there. This is literally a business. So you have to be prepared and treat it like one.
Okay, let's get right into it, Carrie.
All righty. What do you want to start? So today we're going to talk about pricing websites, pricing websites, cleaning apps, tools, checklists, decor, some decor items, execution, and management. That's the agenda today. Where do you want to start?
I think we should start off where we left off. And it is, you just got into escrow. We have
You just closed.
between 30 to 45 days, you're in escrow. And that is when the clock starts. So what are you doing while you're in escrow to get this home prepared before it closes? Because once it closes, you have to get that thing rented immediately if you want to create an income, or you're always behind the 8 ball trying to get your money back.
Yes, we closed escrow at the end of February. We had our first renter in by the middle of March, so about 2 weeks. And I was a crazy bandit online. I ordered everything for our house on Amazon while I was in Australia in February of 2020. It was nuts. We arrived to over 100 boxes in the house. There's a few different ways to do it, but what we did is we set up a checklist with every room that we had and what furniture would need to go in each room, and everything from the kitchen to utensils, plates, cleaning supplies, first aid kits, to the bedrooms, side tables, hangers, luggage racks, the whole thing.
So we pretty much decorated the entire house before we even had the home, already on a checklist. And what saved us a lot of time is, instead of closing the home and then finding furniture and then going out to have furniture delivered, that takes another 2 weeks. And then all of a sudden you're into your second month of owning the property.
Yeah.
Carrie put a checklist together of all the things that we need to own the home, to have things in the home, utensils, hangers, etc.
Yeah.
And then have those all ordered while you're in escrow. So they deliver either the week before you close and you ask the permission from the agent to allow you to have things delivered, or the day you close, you have things scheduled.
Yeah.
So literally in all reality, we probably had 2,000 boxes delivered.
Maybe,
and we were
maybe
going
a couple hundred.
through
It was
so
a
many
lot.
boxes,
Box
putting
cutters
this
are
home
needed.
together, but it allowed us to put the home completely together in less than a week.
We should share some stories of all those boxes. It was wild. The second one, we did pretty much the same thing, and Beverly and Bailey were there to help us open boxes. Her daughter opened boxes like it was Christmas morning. Anyways, The point is, You can do this all in person, but if you ever walked around a TJ Maxx or a Target with a ton of crap in your cart and push
Anxiety
it around,
kill me.
then they make you pack it and put it in the, it's
No.
just, bleh. Ordering online is a great way to go, and a checklist is a great way to go.
Yes.
Another
So
reason
first,
why this,
create the checklist.
yeah, create the
Second,
checklist.
order everything online while you're in escrow.
Yeah, and the reason the checklist is good is because on the second property, you can just make a copy of that checklist and you know exactly what you need. You can even go into your cart and order the same stuff, but for another reason, you can budget that way. So we set a budget per room of what we thought we wanted to spend instead of just a household budget. Because when you really look household budget, I don't know, 40K, 50K, 60K, it's hard to know. But when you look at like, okay, what's a bed? What are dressers? What's the art? That way we know and we calculate each room as to what we're spending. Okay.
And everything's repeatable. So that means
Right.
all the future homes that we already have the checklist, other than changing out, you know, the theme of the home. For the most part, it's the same things you need in every single home.
Yes.
And the way we do our Airbnbs, we go all out. So I know a lot of you have visited
all out.
Well, no, most people here have gone and traveled to an Airbnb before. When you've gone and traveled to an Airbnb, the way I've always experienced Airbnbs are they're very minimal. Some don't even have shampoo. Some don't have washcloths. You have one towel. That towel is very thin. It's almost like you're at a Motel 6, but you're at a nice Airbnb with the way the amenities are set up for you. So we like to have, you know, we travel a lot. We like to go to nice hotels.
We do.
So we like to have that same experience when we're at our Airbnb. So we go all out for quality shampoo, hair conditioner, blow dryers.
Thank you, Paul Mitchell.
Lotions, Q-tips, everything that you think you need, multiple towels, pillows, blankets, extra pillows. When it comes to utensils, extra knives, crock pots, coffee maker, Keurig maker.
Okay, you're really going for it.
I mean, we really go above and beyond because these are the things people really care about and come back to re-rent your home over and over again.
Right. So in addition to the checklist, what we're saying is there's an extra
salt and pepper.
Salt, and we have, I'm going to kill you. Okay, the point is, we're veering a bit. The point is, there's like a little extra 10% rule, as we say. So you spend a little bit more, say maybe 2,000 to 3,000, and then you do the extra things that set you apart from other Airbnbs. But we're going to go into setting us apart a little bit later.
Okay.
So anyways, we order the furniture online. We've got the budget. We've got another rule for decor. One thing you should do too is decide what themes you want, whether you want to do like a mid-century or you want to do Palm Springs vibe or Miami vibes.
We do?
Yeah, why not? Let them in.
Our themes are very Palm Springs. Our themes are very pink. We like to
don't say the pink thing.
I love it. We like to have a lot. We have a lot of colors in our Airbnb, and it's fun. It's
we have a one piece per room rule. So
very much so.
What we do, no matter what we want, you want everything to be comfortable and nice, but it does not need to be expensive just because it's nice. You need to buy a couch anyway, so why not get something that's a little bit more fun? But what we do is we like to find the least expensive version of every item, but we have a rule where we are allowed to have one splurge item per room, whether that's a fabulous dining table or at PGA West Home, our fabulous Moroccan French tile table that I am just obsessed with.
Or for the bedrooms, just nice beds.
But that's another thing too. You need to have nice linens, nice beds, and then the extras like chargers, nice shampoo, kitchenware, etc. So that is on setup. Let's talk a little bit about the tools that we use.
The logistics.
Okay, so you're ready to launch your listing. There are a few different sites you can put them on. You can put them on Airbnb, of course. You can put them on VRBO. You can put them on what else? One Fine Stay, etc.
One Fine Stay. You can put it on Expedia. You can put it on TripAdvisor. I mean, I can go down on the list if you want. VRBO
is owns a lot of different sites, so they syndicate to so many, at least 20, like TripAdvisor and a bunch of other ones. So what happens is once you put your listing up on these websites, they now need to chit chat to each other, right? So if somebody books on your Airbnb, but VRBO also has your property on it.
How do you sync your calendars? You're not double booking.
Right. So most people, if you're looking on AirDNA, which we talked about last time, you can see who has the majority of where people have their properties. And it's mostly VRBO and some Airbnb, but having them on both is very unusual. Why? Because it is very difficult to sync all this software, the calendars, the pricing, manage. Yes. And the last thing you ever want is a double booking, because on Airbnb, if you cancel a booking, you were like
getting a speeding ticket.
Yeah. Worse. I think it's worse.
They dock you in points.
I think it's like going to jail almost, a little bit of jail.
Wow,
maybe not really. Okay, speeding ticket. We'll go with speeding ticket. Right. So there's a lot of little nuances to this stuff that is super ultra complicated.
Correct.
And for example, in one of our first Airbnbs in LA that I was renting with my family, we had the property up on booking.com, but we didn't realize that we hadn't set up payments properly, because Airbnb is very user friendly. So we realized after a month that we had 3 people stay who didn't pay. So we had to chase them down for payments. 2 of them paid, thank God. But that's another thing too. You end up getting Stripe, like a system to take payments. So the easiest way to do this is just on Airbnb, but VRBO is such a powerful platform that really does the majority of the rentals. You want to be on VRBO and you want to spend some time learning how they sync, how the calendars sync, and the pricing. So Eric, do you want to get into pricing?
Well, let's get back, because that was very convoluted. I was very mix and matching right there. So I think what she's saying is were you talking about pricing just now?
I thought you had a point to make.
I did. I did have a point to make.
We were talking about the websites, Airbnb and VRBO, and syncing them and stuff.
Sorry. So when she mentioned all the different websites, I think the lesson learned is you don't have to be everywhere. You just need to be in 1 or 2 places and you run it well. So instead of having booking.com and TripAdvisor, we focus primarily on Airbnb first and foremost. You get that going, you get that nailed down, and then you can spread yourself out to the VRBO platform, and then you can manage the 2 together. But if you're now starting your first Airbnb, I would just get on Airbnb and get it rented first. And then you can really dig into or dive into how to sync VRBO and your calendars together, because it does work well together. But I will tell you from our experience, I wouldn't go further than that unless you have multiple Airbnbs, or unless your Airbnb is not getting booked at all for some odd reason because of your location or wherever you purchase. And then you might need to spread out to other platforms. But for the most part, if you have a good location, Airbnb. Also, something we didn't bring up is probably most people will just get a property manager, so they don't have to deal with any of this. Yeah, we don't do property managers
So
here.
if you got a property manager, they would take 20%, which is quite a bit. If you're making $10,000 a month, that's $2,000. To me, that's quite a bit of money.
And take control of your Airbnb platform as well.
I mean, that's okay. So if you are getting a property manager, then you get the checklist, you set it up. They usually take care of photos and they put it up, and then you really just sit back and collect a check and go there when you want to. But if you're actually planning to manage it, that is what we're getting into today about Airbnb and VRBO. There are channel managers like Guesty and Hostfully and things like that we veered down, and it was a horrible road. It was very confusing, very time consuming. So I'd say that was one of our learning lessons, is the time wasted on all those websites and whatnot, right? And you don't know until you know, right? Yes. A lot of this, even if people tell you and give you advice, you don't know until you know.
So now let's jump into pricing.
Okay, pricing. That's fun.
So
yeah, you get your place. How in the heck do you know how to price it, right? Like, okay, real estate valuation is one thing, right? Like what things are worth, but pricing an Airbnb, Eric, fill us in. How do we even get started on that?
I'm going to tell you guys all, get a pen and paper, because you need to write both of these words down. AirDNA, because we mentioned that last week, that really does help to understand what rents are going for in the area.
Shar wants to be in our video. Shar, do you really want to be in our video?
I don't think she knows what she's doing.
Okay.
And 2 is Price Labs. Both of these, it's really weird. I feel the whole Airbnb industry is so fairly new. There isn't a blueprint necessarily of how to execute the best Airbnb. I think everybody is out forging and trying to figure it out on their own. Whether you're big or small, there's multiple platforms or multiple ways to do it.
What do you mean by big or small?
Whether you have 100 Airbnbs or you have 5 Airbnbs, everyone's still trying to figure out how to forge, because we have friends who own hundreds of Airbnbs, and they're still trying to figure out new ways and new strategies how to maximize their Airbnbs.
Right.
So what we found was using Price Labs and Airbnb together.
All right. Price Labs.
Price Labs, LABS.
Write that down.
Write that down.
Also,
plus AirDNA.
Don't be sorry, Shar. We love you. Also, if you have questions, please feel free to put them in the chat and we will get to them.
Yes.
This is absolutely an open forum. Okay, so Price Labs.
What AirDNA does.
Wait, Price Labs.
We're going to go one step
We're going
at a time.
back. I'm so sorry.
What AirDNA does, it gives you an understanding of what rents you're getting in the area. You can do a rentalizer and you can see the homes around your property and what they're renting for annually and monthly.
Yes.
So that kind of gives you an idea of what you're looking for, or a range, so to speak. So then with that, you take that information, you go to Price Labs, and Price Labs is where you can set up pricing based on seasonality for your home for the rest of the year. So it's able to sync your home in multiple platforms and it uses multiple algorithms to understand different seasonality on pricing, because wherever you have a home for Airbnb, based on depending on the month, the summer, the spring, or events or golf events, whatever it may be, prices can seem to surge up. So what you don't want to be left with is renting your home for a very low price when there's something going on or it's a really good season. So that's what Price Labs allows us to do. It uses multiple algorithms and kind of guides us when we're pricing in the future of where we should be pricing range-wise to get the maximum value for the home.
Right. Yeah. Price Labs is amazing. So you were starting with AirDNA and moved into Price Labs.
Well, AirDNA kind of gives me an understanding of where the price range is for rents.
Yeah.
And then the Price Labs allows me to set that price range up using their seasonality, but also I use the AirDNA. I kind of use both numbers to understand where we want to go, because again, finding out your price, it's almost like an art. There's no set way to do it. You just have to feel your way through it.
Trial and error.
Big time.
Right. One of the biggest things we learned, here's a little hot ticket item, is that most properties do not book more than 30 days in advance.
Yes.
When you know that, all of your anxiety will go way down.
Yes.
It is just a weird phenomenon. My very dear friend Amin is actually the one who had told us that, and we were freaking out about it. Most people, shockingly, book their Airbnbs
short notice
within 2 to 4 weeks. Yeah. So we personally never have people booked more than 60 days out for the most part.
For the most part.
Which gives you major anxiety when you have mortgages to pay and then you add other ones on, but that is just the way it works.
And when you get the analytical who does book 6 months in advance for a month, we love those people.
Do we?
I do.
I don't know. Prices might go higher. I don't love those people.
That's what Price Labs is.
That's what
Price Labs is for, because Price Labs will give you a seasonality price of 6 months ahead based on what's going on. So there you go.
Yeah, no, I like that. People, thanks, Corey says we're color coordinating.
Ooh, I didn't even realize that.
You're so funny. What's up, Corey? What are some questions? Okay, that's way too close on yours.
If you missed the first part of the 3-part series.
Yes, we do have.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bev's putting the link to our first part of that. It's also on my YouTube page. Okay, so with Price Labs, you can put in, I would definitely recommend spending some time on tutorials on Price Labs. So they have a lot of great videos to watch and forums that you can join and chat with, and they're always available on a message to ask questions too. But what they do is they ask you for a base price and a minimum price. And this is where you can say the least amount that you will take nightly for your property, and then put in a base, which is kind of your average nightly rate.
It's really hard to explain that unless you're actually in.
I get it. Okay, maybe it's a little too complicated, but what it does is it bases all the seasonality on that price. So if there's a tennis tournament coming in, not really Coachella, but when there's events coming in, it takes that average and goes up or down based on what's happening. It also calculates the days on low demand, medium demand, strong demand. So your prices will go up and down. You can also do pricing minimums in there, like change the nightly price for the weekends, for summer versus winter. So there's a lot of
interesting tutorials. Options. You guys should all figure it out. At the end of the day, this all takes sweat equity.
Yeah,
it's not just you take you swallow a pill and this is going to run efficiently for you. You got to put in the time. You got to do some research. You got to understand. At the end of the day, you're buying a property. It's a huge investment, and you want to make sure you execute correctly. So, doing the right steps first and doing the homework and the research is going to save you, hopefully, running a good Airbnb to a bad Airbnb.
Yeah, and as we say all this stuff, I mean, it really reminds me of how much work it has been to run
it's been a lot of work. Yes, it has.
And the beauty, I was speaking to a very dear client of mine yesterday, and he's bought his third home now. And all of these investing and building your real estate portfolio, it's not just a walk in the park. It does take time and energy and thought, and it is risky. And the biggest thing is it's work. You have to have a business mentality when you're doing this. You can't just buy houses and hope they rent, or buy properties and hope they short-term rent. You really have to look at the costs involved, time involved, management side of it. When the market changes, when COVID hit, they banned Airbnbs for a while, for a couple months. So I have to keep in mind that this is another business, and it's really worth it. Investments pay off, but you have to understand that it is scary, and it is a risk.
100%. And then, before we close, you have to remember the most important part is you have to be able to make sure you get enough rents to cover your mortgage and all expenses, whether it be cleaning expenses, whether it be yard work, whether it be HOA, or any ancillary things that you purchase for the home. So you have to make sure you create a formula. And one of the formulas that we created was our hotel SVR formula. And if you know any hotel in the area, most hotels, the minimum you can stay at a hotel, a decent hotel, is about $200.
$200 a night, yeah.
So if you can base your mortgage off of what you can average $200 a night, and by the way, you can't do this for 30 nights because your home is not rented full time, you're looking at a 60% occupancy rate. So if you can do the math on a 60% occupancy rate, 60 to 70, based on what $200 a night or whatever that nightly average is for the hotels in the area versus what your home can get on a mortgage, that's the formula that you need to plug in so you can make sure that you're pricing your home, whatever that minimum may be, so you're making sure you cover your ends at the end of the month, because nobody wants to get at the end of the month having to give up their bag.
Absolutely not. Yeah. And that's another thing too, I had brought up on the first webinar about just investments in general, that you can't guarantee that you will always have income. So no matter what, when you're investing, you have to be able to pay that monthly mortgage if something were to go wrong. So you can't leverage yourself so much that if somebody doesn't rent it, or COVID hits, or some black swan, as Chris Voss is an agent on your team. Yeah, Chris Voss, that black swan, like the thing you don't expect, the Alanis Morissette, like rain on your wedding day thing.
Very much
black swan. Yeah, you have to be able to pay for it if something were to happen. Okay, so what is next on our list here?
Maximizing your Airbnb was going to be the next series. I think we've covered today. We've gone over AirDNA. We've gone over Price Labs.
One more tool.
Okay. We've gone over getting the house prepared in escrow,
right?
Ordering everything online. So let's just quickly go back to square one.
Thing. Oh, sorry. One more thing is the Made app. So,
I apologize.
This is a lifesaver. We use Properly.
I'm sure there are many out there.
There are.
Use Properly.
Yeah, we use Properly. So the way it works is we take a picture of every single room and we upload it. So the maids have to take pictures when they finish cleaning so they can verify. So when somebody checks in and says this is broken, or the pillow's missing, or there's no toilet paper,
phone chargers are gone, whatever it may be,
we can verify on the app that was done. And it also helps you schedule the cleanings, and you can pick your service providers, that type of thing. And one other little trick, you need to have somebody on demand. If you have a property manager, you don't need that. But
handyman, an extra pair of cleaners,
handyman, a butler.
Your electricity goes out, your internet goes out, you have a clogged drain.
Yeah.
We've experienced all of those.
The market lights wouldn't work.
Literally you have to have someone close by at a 30-minute basis that can come over and help fix any repairs or anything that goes wrong.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, being prepared and having these things in order and having these checklists are going to save your life. So having Properly, and having AirDNA, and having Price Labs, and really getting your home ordered with a checklist of everything you need during escrow. These are all small things that save you days and save you money.
Yeah.
So you can actually run a fairly really smart Airbnb that's going to be very, successful.
You don't have to do it like me. Like, I'm crazy. I wanted that thing rented so fast.
We should do it like us.
Most people usually have a month or a month and a half downtime, but I was like, let's get this baby going.
First week we had it rented.
It
was the end of the first, good into the second. Yeah,
it's fine. All right, so you can go back and recap now.
So recapping, you guys, just so you guys know, is what you're doing in escrow the first 30 days, 30 to 45 days in escrow. ordering everything online, creating the checklist that can also be repeatable for your next homes. Really taking the tutorials, understanding Air DNA, so you guys can understand the pricing, the rentalizer in the area, and then that transitions into price labs where you can set the pricing based on their algorithms and seasonality for that home in the area for events and different things that happen things that you wouldn't be aware of. And then what was the last thing you closed with?
Properly, but you already said
Properly. And then while you're getting all this, making sure you have good cleaners and having an organizational way, accountability, like properly, to keep them, accountable on the things that they're doing, because properly is very important.
Right.
And then I think that was it, really.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm lost now.
There's a lot to do when you're running an Airbnb, and that's why all these things save our lives. So make sure you write all these apps down. They saved our lives, and all we're trying to do is help you guys out. Other people that are trying to do Airbnbs. We didn't really know what to do, so through trial and error, we were able to figure this out. And if we can help you guys out trying to do Airbnbs, reach out to us, DM us. I know this is a lot of information now.
Well, they can rewatch the link.
And you guys can always reach out as well. I'd be happy to have a conversation with anyone about any questions.
I might be busy selling houses.
Yeah, that sort of thing. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it.
Part
all
2.
Of our Instagram lives, Carrie and mine, and Zoom. You could have tuned in 3 different ways today. You guys, cheers.
We'll see you on part 3.
Bye.
Bye. I don't know which one to end first.
I don't even know how to end these.
Boom! What a way to close out, huh? Bye.
It says share video.
And now, and this one.